Aunt May, sweet old Aunt May, bakes cookies, gives hugs, runs a secret spider lair under her house. Also, she might have dated Dr. Octopus. I'm serious. Go back and watch Into the Spider-Verse. Doc Ock shows up at May's place, an actual supervillain, and May doesn't panic, doesn't even blink. She just goes, "Oh great, it's Liv." Liv, she calls her Liv. Tiny word, massive deal. Because earlier Doc Ock made the rule crystal clear. Friends call her Liv, enemies call her Doc Ock. 2 names, pick a side. Aunt May picked friend. And it keeps going. Doc Ock walks through that house like she pays rent, knows where everything is, totally at home. May isn't scared of her, she's annoyed by her. And that specific annoyed, you mostly get that with an X. Think I'm reaching? The comics already pulled this. Way back in the 70s, Otto Octavius, the original Doc Ock, wooed Aunt May and nearly married her. Ring, proposal, wedding day, the whole mess. It really happened. The movie just swapped Otto for Olivia and stuffed the entire romance into one throwaway line. Did they actually date then? The movie never says it out loud. Officially, that leaves this one a theory. Unproven, not confirmed. But it's a theory the comics basically wrote first, with a clue dropped right into the script. Unproven? Sure. Crazy? Not even a little. Oh, and the hiding thing? This movie does it constantly. There's one number crammed into every Spider-Verse film. Walls, doors, jerseys, everywhere. And that one, the directors flat out confirmed what it means. That's next. Ask the internet what the number 42 means in the Spider-Verse movies. You'll get the same answer every time. And it's wrong. Fans swear it's a nod to a famous science fiction joke, the answer to life, the universe, and everything. Some even argue that Earth 42, the world with no Spider-Man, is secretly our reality, the one where you're just watching a movie. Fun theory. It's also not what the number means. The real answer is better, and the directors confirmed it. 42 was Jackie Robinson's number, the man who broke baseball's color barrier, the first black player in the modern major leagues, forcing his way into a sport that spent years locking him out. His number is so important that every team in baseball retired it. It's untouchable. Now put Miles next to that. A black Puerto Rican kid from Brooklyn pulling on a mask that belonged to Peter Parker for decades. Breaking into a role plenty of people said wasn't meant for him. That's Jackie Robinson's story, wearing spandex. The movie buried the whole meaning of Miles Morales inside one number, sitting quietly in the background the entire film. So the truth beats the myth. The science fiction stuff and the "our universe" idea, fun, but the filmmakers never backed it. The Jackie Robinson tribute, straight from the people who made the movie. Stamp it. The number's real, it's deliberate, and it honors a man who changed history. Confirmed. Just not for the reason everyone keeps repeating. And that's a small thing holding a big meaning. The next theory flips the scale entirely. What if a single Spider-Man is the one holding an entire universe together, and the moment he dies, all of it comes apart? Let's put Tom Holland's Spider-Man on trial for a strange charge, secretly holding up the entire Marvel universe. First, the concept, because it's real. Deadpool and Wolverine establish the anchor being one person every reality is built around. They die. The universe dies. Wolverine was his world's anchor, which means the main universe should have one too. Now, the case for Peter. Exhibit 1, Endgame. Tony Stark refuses to help until he sees a photo of himself and Peter, and that's what pushes him to solve time travel and win the war. Exhibit 2, Peter personally carries the Infinity Gauntlet in the final fight. Exhibit 3, No Way Home, where the entire multiverse breaks open around his identity, and reality only heals when he erases himself from every mind on Earth. 3 universe-level events, all resting on one kid. Strong case. But now the case against. Peter died in Infinity War, snapped into dust, and the universe didn't fall apart. That shouldn't happen to an anchor, and Marvel's own people have suggested Doctor Strange is the more likely candidate. Time for the ruling. Both sides land real punches, and no one with actual answers has called it. This one walks out unproven. A genuine maybe, and I want yours in the comments. But while everyone's busy arguing over whether Peter holds up the universe, they missed something about him. Because this same kid, the one who might be carrying all of reality, is terrified of something completely ordinary. Spider-Man, afraid of heights. Not ironic afraid, actually afraid. In Homecoming, Peter freezes at the top of the Washington Monument, stuck, shaky, wanting nothing more than to be back on solid ground. The wall crawler, rattled by the height. And it's on purpose. Co-writer Jonathan Goldstein said the plan was to give Peter genuine human weaknesses, the kind spider powers don't erase. A fear of heights fit perfectly, because no Spider-Man movie had ever bothered with it. The bite made him powerful. It left the scared kid untouched. That's this whole character in a sentence. Strong on the outside, still 15 and terrified on the inside, and he suits up anyway. That's not weakness. That's the bravest thing about him. Chalk this one up as real. The guy who wrote him said it himself. No theory required, except the internet couldn't leave it there. It took this one small fear, threw in a crashing plane and a boy with no parents, and spun the whole thing into something dark. And plenty of people are sure they've got it right. If you want to see exactly how the internet builds a fake theory out of real parts, this is the perfect example. The claim is heavy, that Peter Parker's parents died in the September 11th attacks, and it's put together well enough that a lot of people believe it. So let's take it apart, piece by piece. Ingredient 1. A real gap. The movies genuinely never explain how Peter's parents died. He's an orphan, and that silence invites people to guess. Ingredient 2. Real math. Civil War makes Peter 15 in 2016, so he'd have been a baby in 2001. That checks out. Ingredient 3. A real fear. We just confirmed Peter's scared of heights. Ingredient 4. Real imagery. Homecoming ends with a building collapsing on Peter and a plane sent toward the city. Every single ingredient is true. And that's the trap, because true ingredients don't make a true conclusion. Stack 4 real things side by side and your brain wants to connect them, even when nothing actually links them. Because one thing is missing. The movies never say it. Not one line. And the comics flatly contradict it. Peter's parents were spies who died in a plane crash that has nothing to do with any attack. The theory is busted, not because the pieces are fake, but because the line drawn between them was never there. That's how misinformation works. Real bricks, imaginary building. If you'd rather have the truth than a myth that sounds good, subscribe. That's the entire point of this channel. And nobody builds imaginary buildings bigger than one guy in the Spider-Verse. He took a handful of coincidences, called them a law of the universe, and started policing every Spider-Man alive with it. The movies think he's wrong. So do I. Miguel O'Hara isn't a liar. He's something more interesting. A guy so haunted by his own past that he's turned his trauma into a law he forces on everyone else. And the movie suggests that law isn't real. His belief is called Canon Events. Certain tragedies, he insists, have to happen to every Spider-Man, or reality itself unravels. It sounds cosmic. It's actually personal. Because look where it comes from. Miguel once slipped into the life of a dead version of himself in another universe, tried to have the family he'd lost. That universe collapsed. And Miguel decided it was his fault for breaking the natural order. He never proved that. He just believed it, because he needed a reason for the pain. Then he went looking for that pattern everywhere. But the movie keeps undercutting him. There's a world whose spider was stolen, so it never got a Spider-Man. And it survives just fine. No hero required. There's Gwen, whose father was supposed to die but resigns and lives, with her universe totally intact. Even the tech only ever claims to predict outcomes. Nobody calls it a law, because it isn't one. That's a man mistaking his grief for the rules of the universe. Is he wrong then? The honest answer is that the next film hasn't ruled on it yet. But everything the movie shows points at Miles being right and Miguel being scared, not correct. An open question, with the evidence leaning against the guy in charge. And grief that rewrites how you see everything? That's where we're headed next, into the most painful scene the MCU ever made. Except that scene has been hiding something from you the whole time. You've seen this scene. You probably cried at it. But there's a layer to Peter Parker's death that most people never fully understood. And it's even worse than you think. What everyone remembers is this. Thanos snaps, and Peter slowly turns to dust in Tony's arms, telling him he doesn't want to go. It's devastating on its own. But look at what's underneath it. Peter didn't just die slowly. He died knowing. When Thanos wins, most victims vanish with no warning at all, gone before they can process it. Peter was different, and the Russo brothers explained why. His spider sense, the power that warns him of danger, kicked in and let him feel his own death approaching before it touched him. He sensed the end coming and could do absolutely nothing about it. And the directors took it one step further in how they shot it. They told Tom Holland to play Peter as a child who refuses to die, scared, desperate, fighting. His stronger body resists the snap, so he lasts longer than the people around him. He clings to life not because it works, but because every instinct in him is screaming to hold on. So the scene you already thought was the saddest in the MCU is actually about a terrified kid who felt death coming, fought it, lost, and used his final breath to say sorry to the man who couldn't save him. And it's all real, confirmed by the directors themselves. Peter got his life back eventually, but the deepest loss was still waiting for him, a day when every person alive would forget he ever existed. All of them, erased. All but one. Peter got his life back. It cost him everyone. The spell that saved the multiverse erased him from every mind on Earth. The people he loved didn't die, they just stopped knowing he was ever alive. That's where we left him. One question hanging. Did it get everyone? Or was there a crack? Brand new day found one. Peter's spider DNA starts mutating out of control, so he goes to the smartest man he knows for a cure, Bruce Banner. And Banner looks at this desperate kid on his doorstep and feels nothing. No recognition. A stranger. Then it goes wrong. Banner's inhibitor breaks, and what comes out isn't the calm, clever Professor Hulk. It's the old one, savage, mindless, and it gets Peter by the throat. So Peter, cornered, out of options, does the one thing no one on Earth remembers. He says his own name. It's Peter, and the monster stops. The scientist forgot him. The monster didn't. Somewhere under all that rage, in the part of that mind the magic never reached, the Hulk knew that name, knew it belonged to a friend, and a fury nothing else could stop, just let go. Stamp it. Confirmed. Someone remembers Peter Parker. Not the genius he came to see, the creature everyone else runs from. And here's the part that turns the knife into hope. It isn't only the Hulk. Ned, best friend Ned, still knows their handshake. His hands remember what his mind was ordered to forget. Two people. Two cracks in a spell that was supposed to be absolute. Peter spent the whole film believing forgotten meant gone forever. It doesn't. He wasn't erased. He was buried in the people who loved him, waiting for the right one to hear the right name. So that's 8 theories, ruled, 4 confirmed, 1 busted, and a few honest maybes, because that's the deal on this channel. Truth over the myth that just sounds good. But theory 8 is the one I want your verdict on. Marvel spent a whole film convincing you Peter was gone for good, then handed the one memory that survived to a mindless rage monster, of all people. Did they make the right call? Or should someone who actually loved him have remembered first? Tell me below. I read them. If you'd rather have the real answer than the version that trends, you already know what to do. Subscribe. That's the whole point of this place. More crazy theories? Same rule. Confirmed or busted. See you in the next one.